And we're live. Greetings and salvations. I'm Moonthought Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers, and you're listening to Eldritch Rants, the show that dares to ask the question, do we indeed need to catch them all? The answer to this question will be answered by our panel of experts, singular, which in this case is Japid, who is a, what do you call it, Pokemon rights activist, as well as Farty von Bumstank, who is, as we all know, the man with the black belt and bullshit. He's the Baron of Blather. The only difference between what he does and insanity is all in the swagger. Yes, indeed, it's Farty. Hey, how is everybody doing today? Yeah, we're going to start off with, I finally got my 23andMe back. So I now know what I am. Apparently, I'm a Neanderthal Jew. I'm an Ashkenazi. Yeah, I don't think it's actually pronounced that way, but it looks like Ashkenazi, Nazi, Jewish. Only 0.4%. I thought we were more than that when I looked at my family tree. Apparently, a lot of my family tree was lying about being Jews. About a third of them still got burned, but that doesn't change the point. But, yep, knew we were mostly Polish, part German, part Irish. I think about a third of me is genetically drunk. But that's about it, you know. So, but hey, the big part is that 4% of my overall DNA makes me a Neanderthal. So that's awesome. I am a Neanderthal Jew. That pretty much works. Yeah, if you was just a little bit of Native American Indian, yeah, I couldn't get near alcohol without passing out. Any rate. Oh, I thought she wasn't going to be able to make it. Oh, okay. Well, we'll wait up. Oh, cool. Oh, well, but you can jump on whenever she wants. We got a kind of a BS start anyways here. But no, I just wanted to share that, you know, I'm in the top. There are 57% people are less Neanderthal than me. Isn't that cool? Number one has only got like 347 genetic Neanderthal traits. So, but hey, that's how it is. The problem is I wanted to be more oppressed. I was hoping there was going to be a lot more oppression in my family tree. Something I could really hang a hat on, like it was black or an Indian or maybe a black Indian or Native American or something. I don't know. The only minority is like Ashkenazi Jew. You know, that's it. That's the only minority I'm at. Otherwise, I'm basically blah. I'm American blah. I'm a mongrel. I'm a mutt. So. True that. True that. I am a little bit Iberian. I don't even know where that is. But there you go. Iberian. Iberian. And Balkan. I'm a Balkan Iberian. I think Iberia is like around, what do you call it? The Ukraine. So I probably do want to kill myself, at least percentage-wise. Yeah. But, well. Only a little bit Jew. Oh, cool. Well, I hope they show up. At any rate, anything you guys want to talk about in general before we start hitting some topics? We'll hit some of the more BS ones before we get into anything serious. Oh, I did try to get an actual feminist to come on for, like, he made this video called How to Be an Anti-Feminist, and he was trying to mock anti-feminists, and I'm like looking at his video and going, dude, look, I get it. You're trying to be insulting, but this really isn't offensive. Sorry. I kept sending him out. Just come on the show. We'll actually, you know, we'll give you another feminist to protect you. Come on, it'll be fun. But he won't do it. Oh, no, not Riley. Riley was one of them, but the other one is the one with the big glasses and. Oh, I know who you're talking about. No. Yeah, she was trying to. Not sure. Not sure. Hey, Gwendy, what's up? By the way, if anybody was wondering, Gwendy Wook is on our panel of experts. Is the Pokemon trainer. Jacob is a Pokemon rights activist. Jacob is a Pokemon rights activist. Any rate, should we wait for Drew or do you want to get started? All right, not a problem. By the way, I'm a Neanderthal Jew. I got back my 23andMe. My genetic results are I'm 0.4% Ashkenazi Jew. Not much of a Jew. I thought we were more of a Jew, judging by our family tree. It seems like we were mostly just religiously Jew, not like full-on Jew. But, you know, there's only a little bit of a Jew. But I'm 4% Neanderthal. Isn't that awesome? I'm a Neanderthal Jew. Oh, I'm only 39% Polish. Thought we were more than that. Polish, Irish, German. Ma. Okay, here, tell us a joke. Oh, ouch. Ugh. 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 That was a shit show. The Harvester of Sorrow wants to know how you're doing, Farty. Ah, well. Anyway. Well, then clearly the option is to stop having arms. About 60 miles. Oh, hold on one second. I think I screwed something up.
Everyone else but Bob.
I mean, I can hear you.
Thanks for letting me know.
Harvester of
welcome.
Sorrows can't. Sounds fucked.
How's the sound now?
You sound fine before. I don't understand the issue.
No,
Yeah,
broadcasting.
yeah, the broadcaster might have screwed something up. I have to route everything through Soundflower.
Ah.
And Soundflower might be off, damn it.
Soundflower, that sounds like a really gay superhero.
Well, it's
Here he comes.
Soundflower bed.
It's
All good now. Okay. Sorry about that. Well. Well, I mean, we weren't really getting started until Drew starts up anyway, so this is kind of less the shooting around anyways.
I mean, he said he'd be a minute like 9 minutes ago. I'm kind of tempted to text him until he gets his ass in here and be like, bitch, 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 bitch.
You need to crack your whip on him.
Nope. Oh,
well,
no,
she's a Pokemon trainer and he's the Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
No. Oh, it's a good song.
Anyway, well, since we fixed the sound and everything, maybe we should get going. Shall we get going? Or do you want to give him another minute or two?
Let me
see. I just sent him a text saying we're getting started, so...
We'll give him 2 more minutes until it's an even 11 o'clock.
I was going to say, like, let's wait till it's an even number. I mean, I've got 57.
By the way, Harvester didn't hear you before, so party. Sorry to make you repeat yourself.
Yeah, I'm seeing different doctors now, and I'm getting some headway with my mental health. Don't know about my lungs yet, but it does turn out that a lot of my symptoms are my mental health and anxiety and shit manifesting itself now into physical ailments. So, but I am getting with it.
That's good, though. I mean, I'm glad they're starting to figure out what's wrong with you, other than what we already knew, which is that you're crazy, but that's good.
Well, yeah, it's a lot better to go into Port Mac Hospital and say that I'm having chest pains, and before I could say that I've got pains in my arm as well, which was really weird because they were alternating. Like I was having the arm pains, then I was having the chest pains, and then the arm pains, not at the same time.
Well, let me ask you this: when you say you have chest pains and arm pains, like what kind of pain is it? Is it a sharp pain, a dull pain, a throbbing pain, an aching pain? Can you describe it?
Well, you know when they put the blood pressure thingy cuff on your arm, right, and they pump it right the fuck up, and then your whole arm has that ache on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what was happening in my arm, but my chest was sort of palpitations plus tightness plus stabbing pain plus all sorts of other shit.
Okay, so that sounds like anxiety with severe like muscle like spasms in your back and up into your shoulder blades, which makes your arms hurt. So it's stress. It's literally that's all you have.
Oh no! That was like in me inside me chest. It was like it's between me rib cage, not like out.
Yes.
It wasn't muscular.
No, you're having severe stress-related symptoms. I have the same issue.
But the weird part about it was I wasn't really stressed out that day. Like I'd had someone do something stupid in front of me in the car, and I wasn't even pissed off about it. I just thought, well, I can overtake him in a minute, and I'll just do that. And I did, and that's when the first one hit, and I'm like, holy shit, where the fuck did that come from? But yeah, but like I just put the alternating down to like how flashing lights alternate. It was my body's internal warning system. It was like beep 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 beep. There's a problem. I was just doing it really slowly.
Ah, well.
I've been more
How about we
impressed
get
at
started and we'll
headlights.
just let Drew catch up with us? How about that? Because it's
He'll
after
pop in when
11.
he gets here.
Alrighty. Hold on. Let's get started in the first article. Boop, boop, boop.
Hi.
Airline
there he
passenger.
is.
Oh.
Now you show up.
Buggy and Drew, stop fucking making us wait.
God
You know what?
damn.
Since we kind of screwed up the start of this, I'm going to stop the stream, wait about 60 seconds, and then we'll just start all over again. That sound good?
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Hold on a
Oh
second.
my
Do I have to
God.
answer that fucking?
And in 5, 4, 3, 2, restarting. Okay, here we go. And greetings and salvations. I'm Munthoff Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers, and we're giving this a second try here. You're listening to Eldritch Rants, the show that dares to ask the question, do we really need to catch them all? The answers to this and many more questions will be answered by our panel of experts, including Gwendywook, who is a professional Pokemon trainer, Jacob, who is a Pokemon rights activist, and of course, Drew, who is actually a Pokemon.
How
And
did
last,
you know that I'm playing Pokemon right this second?
I'm the Eldritch God. I know shit, man. It's what I do. And of course, last but not least, he has a black belt in bullshit. He is the Baron of Blather. The only difference between he does and insanity is all in the swagger. It's Verdi Bon Vunstank. Hey, how's it going? Hey. Alrighty, now starting over at the beginning here, I finally got my 23andMe back, and I appear to be a Neanderthal Jew. So that's pretty awesome. Otherwise, Jew,
That's so funny.
Neanderthal Jew from Poland, Ireland, Germany. No real surprises here, although I was expecting to be a bit more Jew considering the family tree that we were told. So apparently we were just religiously Jewish and not really Jew.
Oh my God.
No beans?
But hey, now I get to be more oppressed, so that's kind of cool. I was hoping for a bit more diversity in my oppression, but, beggars can't be choosers. Although I get to think that going around saying I'm Neanderthal, ooh, that's got to be worth some oppression points right there, man.
Oh yeah. Ever seen South Park? You really do. You really do.
You wiped out my entire species. You want to talk about oppression? You think you people got on your case? I'm 4% Neanderthal, man. We got wiped out. And I'm Jewish. We really got wiped out. I was a Neanderthal Jew, man. Like, everybody wanted to burn me. Like, you cannibalistic Homo sapien. Jesus. Really pissed about the whole, Cro-Magnon age. That thing was just not cool. That was not cool, man. Just because we got sloping foreheads. Jesus. Not that I care about Jesus because I'm a Jew, but.
Well, the sloping forehead thing. Like, you sure that's not just the Balkan party you're coming out?
Nah, well, we got Neanderthals have big noses, so that's what's going for it, I guess that's
So do
it.
Jews.
Yeah.
Well, so do-
Neanderthals
so
and
do
Jews,
black
the same
people.
thing. But we're noble. We're the noble savage. Damn it, we were oppressed. You immigrants came to our land, and we were plant eaters and shit. You guys are cannibals. Crap. We never ate anybody. We got spears and big noses. What do you want from us? Okay. Anyway, shall we move on to the first topic? I think we've exhausted this. Alrighty, airline passenger fined after keeping free airline apple. Yes, a woman was fined $500 for not declaring that she was bringing a free apple into the United States that she received on her Delta Airlines flight from Paris. Apparently, the flight attendants came by and handed out an apple. She didn't eat it. She saved it in her bag. And then later, she was randomly searched by customs, who then said, "Hey, was your trip from France expensive?" And when she said yes, he told her, "Well, it's about to get even more expensive," and then charged her $500. Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, no. I can explain this. Yep. Fucking, it's a quarantine thing. Because you're supposed to declare it, and even not declaring it, fucking is a finable offence. Because you get this little card saying, have you been to this place? Have you got any of this on you? How much money have you got? How many cigarettes you're bringing in? Have you got any food stuffs? And fucking, there's a show on customs and quarantine where, like, in Australia, where like people all the time they do that. They're sort of like, oh no, but like I didn't think this was food. Well, can you eat it? Well, yeah, but I didn't think this was food, and
What?
and a lot of
Like
it has
what?
to do with like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. Because if there's fruit, there's lots of
Wait, wait,
fruit
wait. So
plantations.
No,
you have people
Australia's
that
really
come to
big
your
on that
country.
because Australia
No,
does
no,
not
no.
want to get more screwed. I understand that.
Wait. Okay, so you have people coming into your country
Hmm.
with like
Hmm.
for example, an apple, and say, "I
Yep.
didn't know this was food."
Yes. Yes.
Oh
Absolutely, they
my
do that.
god!
Well,
Now,
in this case,
the
my problem is it was given to you by Delta on the airline
yeah.
flight. So I
Yeah.
think she just thought of, I didn't bring this from another country. This is
No.
just airline food.
No, she's
But
lied on the card. She's obviously ticked, no, I don't have any foodstuffs because this is on the plane. Why should I even bother putting it down? And just because it was in her
no, by the
bag,
law,
she's
I
just,
agree
no.
with it. But the law, I agree.
Yeah.
But, you should be
Right,
along the
but-
lines of, you're stupid and have like, you're don't be stupid, exception. I mean, once she explained where it came from, they should have said, you're a moron. And she should have said, yes, I'm a moron. Can you please give me a sign that says I'm a moron and then save me $500? But nope.
But
So-
then, but then everyone would do that, and then there's no point in having the law because like that happens a lot in this show and all this kind of stuff. Like
True.
the proper thing you
That's fair,
do
though.
is if you're not sure about something, tick the yes you do on the thing on the box. So like when I came back from Sierra Leone, I had a bunch of wooden carvings, and I know they had weevil holes in them. I wasn't sure about the weevils, and I put down yes, I come from an African country, and yes, I do have stuff to declare. And I was actually pulled out of the line by customs, and as we're walking away, I said, "Yeah, grab the quarantine bloke. I've got a few things to show him too." And if you're upfront and honest, you'll be all right. And if she'd
Right.
said, "Look, I don't know about this apple. It was on the flight, but yeah, it's still foodstuffs, but I didn't get it from France," she would have been okay. But since she said, "No, don't have any," and then they found the apple on it, well, she's lied on the card, which is an actual, it's a criminal offence to lie on the
Right.
card.
Like, I understand what you're saying, and I get why she got the fine and everything. It's just, how is anybody that dumb? Like, how is she that dumb?
Oh no, my problem is with Delta like handing out free apples on an international flight. Like this, I lay at Delta's feet. Like because I know I understand the whole like she should have said I'm declaring it, but Delta should have also like should never have given out fruit. Seriously.
Well, I know, like, no, well, we've in response to what Wendy just mentioned, it's a lot of the people are actually bringing in stuff that is banned here. Like, there's a stuff you can get from Asia called bird's nest, and just because of the way it's made and where it comes from, there is no guarantee that it's not mixed with other foreign bits and bobs, more bugs and germs and stuff like that, that can be transferred into like areas where we got a lot of fruit growers and stuff like that. And it's a huge industry, and that's why it's so well protected. There's like massive quarantine things, and if there is like a thing of fruit fly in Australia, there's even parts where they'll even like have roadblocks and shit, and you have to wash your shoes and fucking wash your car and stuff before you go in. But like things like bird nest, it's banned in Australia, and Asians know this. But it doesn't stop a whole fucking ton of them trying to bring it in the country. And, oh, sorry, we did not know. So you're going to visit family, are you? Oh, yeah. So did they ask you to bring this in? Oh, yeah. Okay, did you ever ask them why couldn't they get it here? Oh, no, me stupid. Oh, no, me no. Can't you let me off? Oh, just this one. Oh, please. And then, there's even a couple of days where they're like, oh, me no speak English, and I don't know, I never have this before, and they look them up and they go, actually, you've been here 5 fucking times, and this is the 5th fucking time we've had this fucking discussion. Here's a gigantic friggin' fine. Oh, but I cannot pay now. You know the fucking drill. You can elect to pay in within an amount of time, or go to see a court and fucking argue the point there. You've been through this before. Don't fucking bung this shit on. Yeah, some of them are plainly stupid. Some of them are trying to be stupid.
And so now we know that Australia is really serious about their apples. Shall we move on? Any other comments before we move on?
Oh, Japanese or Chinese?
Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Laotians, fucking South Koreans, you name it, they all do it.
All right, moving on to depressing stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Hey. All
Even
right.
more depressing than getting fined $500 over an apple.
Boy whose parents fought to keep life support mourned in UK. Yes, everybody's heard about Alfie, the kid who the court said kill the little booger, took him off life support, and the little booger refused to die. So the judge said, you know what? I know the Pope said he made him an Italian citizen. I know the Pope has a plane and a helicopter standing by, and that the Pope out of his own pocket will pay to have this baby flown all the way down to Italy, to the Vatican itself, where the kid will receive the very finest in health treatment. The judge said, you know what? Fuck that shit. Stop giving the kid food and water and let him die of dehydration. And after 5 days of breathing, after he should have, suffocated in the first few minutes, according to the doctors, Alfie finally bought it. I would read off the father's final statement, except it reads off like somebody who's in a hostage situation. In short, the United Kingdom basically murdered a child.
What? Wait. Okay. Back this train up for a second. I know very little, nothing about this story.
Okay, then let me give you the eater. Alfie Evans, a British toddler with a degenerative brain condition whose parents lost a legal battle to keep him on life support at a Vatican hospital, was mourned with balloons set free in the sky and prayers from the Pope after he died Saturday, weeks shy of his second birthday.
Oh my God.
The doctors said his unknown brain disease, they apparently remained unknown because it was just too expensive to figure it out, said, you know what, if we take him off the life support, he's going to die. And the court said, that's no way to live. We want Alfie to die with comfort and dignity. So we're going to take him off the ventilator. He's not going to die right away. It's going to take freaking 5 days for him to die of dehydration. He's probably going to cry this whole time that he's freaking dying. And, that's the way that you have a, 2-year-old child die of, with dignity and comfort. Just shoot the kid in the head. If you were going to murder him, just shoot him in the head.
I just want to bring a few little points up with this. They know he's got a degenerative brain disease which put him on life support, which dictates to me that he was in...
They don't know what the disease was at all.
Oh, wait.
And they didn't know what it was.
If he was on life support...
Yep,
if he's on life support, that usually means he wasn't getting any better anyways. And personally, if I ever become a virtual veggie, I'd want someone to fucking off me. I wouldn't want to spend the rest of my life fucking...
Well, here's a question. If they take you off the life support and you're still breathing, and you open your eyes and are blinking, do you want to be starved to death?
See, now, a lot of this is coming from emotion too.
No. This is see, I got no problem with them deciding, you know what, the kid can't breathe. We're not going to keep him alive anymore.
Like if he
We're
had,
taking him
died
off
right after life support,
but
then
when he stopped, when he kept breathing, okay, they denied him food and water.
When people are generally taken off life support, it does generally take a little bit of time, whether it be a couple of days, maybe a week or so, for him to go.
He died from dehydration. Not from a lack of oxygen. Yeah. He was breathing just fine.
He was put under Calvary then, which is basically where you've got no chance, so they may as well just let you go. They did this basically to my father.
Hold on.
Yeah, but your father wasn't 2 years old and he wasn't struggling to live.
Oh yeah. Wait, guys, there's a little bit more to this thing that needs to be brought up. Now, here's the thing: with the hospitals, they refuse to actually go through any kind of tests, which we just said. When there are other hospitals, other areas, like we just mentioned, as well, that were willing to give this kid the test.
Now,
give it the treatment to actually.
Here's
see
the difference
that
I see with you and Farty. See, if Farty, you had the power of decision making for your dying father, and you said, "I know my father's wishes, and I know he'd prefer to die," and then he died that way. I'd have no problem with that because you are the family. You are the family, and he gave you authority to make that decision for you. These parents had their authority taken from them to remove the child from the hospital. They were denied the right to remove the child from the hospital, denied the right to put him on a waiting helicopter, denied the right to have that helicopter fly to a plane, then out to Italy where the Pope was going to bless the child and then try to save its life. Now,
Well,
that's
there's a
my
quick
problem.
point,
The
just-
parents were not allowed to do it.
Well, there's just a quick point with the Pope, though. With everything that's happened with Jimmy Savile and all that, I don't think the UK government would have seen themselves being in a good light giving a defenceless child to the Catholic Church.
Dude,
It's the parents' choice. That's my issue. They took away
I'm
the
with that.
parents'
Like, if
choice to
they're-
choose. Like, if this
Like,
was
that-
your
I'm,
choice.
I'm right there with you though. Like exactly, Bob. The fact that they took away the parents' choice and that was an option that they had, and they said, "No, that's too bad. You can't do it." We said no. Like, no,
That's
you don't
my
get to-
issue.
The government does not get to tell me that I can't do this thing for my kid. You can just fuck off.
No, I will say this. I will defend this. They live in the UK and they've got free health care from the government. And the government said, we're not paying for any more health care for this kid. We're not putting any more money into it. That's a death panel. But you want to know what? You wanted single parent. You got the government to pay for your health care for free. They have the right to say, nope, this is too expensive. Okay, I got that. But the minute the kid didn't start dying, the minute the kid survived, and the minute another hospital outside the country was willing to take over, that's the point where the UK government lost. Okay? That's the point where they lost. And that's my issue, that the government decided they had the right to kill the child. And the parents didn't have the right to
it's
decide
not
that it
really
lived.
It's not really the government. And see, like, you know, in the Commonwealth, it's a Westminster system, which means that the government and the Queen can't really tell the courts what to do. So it's all the courts. And under British law, the courts were asked to intervene when parents and doctors disagree. Now,
No, the problem was the doctors agreed with the court. The doctors agreed with the court.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
No, when the parents and the doctors disagree. Now, the doctors are going to take, or the courts are going to take the doctor's side over the parents, because, like I said, it's under emotion and all that. And I could argue the case that the reason why they let my dad pass away is because they couldn't be bothered draining his lungs every 2 days. Because 2 days prior to this, he was perfectly fine. He was just feeling a bit weird in the guts, and they drained about 4 litres of fluid out of his lungs. Now, they could have still done that because there was a vast improvement the instant they did that. They just decided that, no, this is going to continually get worse and he's going to drown from pneumonia anyways. So that's why they stopped treatment there. Now, I never asked them to do it. My mum never asked them to do it. However, you know, that was the decision that was made. Now, that also brings up the whole thing too of where, like, if I became a virtual veggie, I wouldn't want to be stuck in a wheelchair for the next however long I'm supposed to be living for. And I would like a doctor to go and say, right, well, he is that far gone, we should have the right to just stop treatment and let him go. But I guarantee you, like, you know, maybe my brother, because he's the selfish cunt, and my mum would be, you know, working on their emotions and go, but isn't there something more you can do? Surely there's something more you can do. I really wouldn't sort of side with the parents under emotion when doctors have disagreed and it's gone to a court and the courts have said, right, the doctors have said all of this and that's their heartless, emotionless situation, but the parents still want, because of emotion and all this kind of stuff. Is putting this kid, you know, through all of this an effort and futility? The doctors say yes. Is this going to cause more harm and stress and all this kind of stuff to the child? The doctors say yes. Are the parents looking out for the child's best interests? Well, they're going to send him to the Pope, so fucking no. Well, I'll side with the doctors.
Well, so for the record, I don't mind being a vegetable. As a matter of fact, if I'm a vegetable, keep me alive no matter what. If you got to cut off my head and make me a brain in a jar, I want to live no matter what. Every last moment. I want to suck the marrow out of the bones of the world. That's where I stand. I don't mind being reduced to a vegetable and being in constant agony because I've been there. I have been in pain. And I know the price. And I'm willing to pay it because living is better than dying. I understand your position on this, Farty. I do. But this is one place where we're going to have to disagree. Because I'm okay with somebody saying, I want to die. This is a 2-year-old child. He doesn't get to do that. His parents have the right to do that. And yes, you might give authority to your brother. But here in the United States, we have what is known as a DNR. Do not resuscitate. You can sign that ahead of time, and there's no way anybody else can get around that.
Yeah, we got that too. That's for CPR and all that kind of stuff.
There's actually like
my
massive legal
dad-
repercussions for going against that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
me and Vardy have both
my dad-
expressed our viewpoints. If anybody else would like to
Yeah.
speak, I don't want to dominate the conversation. Anybody else have a comment?
I mean, as a parent, if I was in that situation and the government tried to say that to me, I would be forcibly removing my child from that hospital and putting him on the helicopter
Yeah.
myself.
Oh, they had to stop a riot.
Kid.
People they
They're on
didn't
the
get
guard.
reported because the parents
I don't get these
said
shit.
they
You better-
wanted to
you better
remove.
aim to fucking kill, because if you tell me that I can't do whatever I can to save my kid, you can suck my imaginary dick. I'm gonna save my kid. Fuck all you bitches.
And my
don't
real
care.
one.
I mean,
No, you can't get that done, Drew. You don't have permission to do that. Remember, you're the Pokemon. She's the trainer.
Yeah,
But that's it. No, I mean, I understand to some degree your position on this, Farty, and I
I'm
agree.
I'm sorry. I mean, Drew.
Yeah, no, going on with something else.
I-
Drew,
no.
like just with the do not resuscitate thing, that means that you have to have lost conscious to be resuscitated in the first place. That was when, that was the difference between my dad. He hadn't actually lost consciousness that needed resuscitation.
Oh, it sounds like in your father's case that was malpractice. That doesn't sound like that was a choice.
Oh no! That was euthanasia, but not exactly euthanasia.
Yeah, see, that's my.
'Cause
I'm
was
okay with
coming-
euthanasia if the person is of sound mind or he's given over permission to somebody else to make the decision for him. Because if you've given away permission, then that person's got the authority, and they go, you know what, this person want to live. And I get that, but this kid is not old enough to make that decision. It falls on the parents who are the guardians, and they said the kid wants to live, and the government said no. Now, I don't care if it's the judge or if it's the church or if it's the queen or whoever. Somebody in a position of authority authorized the use of police to hold off the riot that tried to storm the hospital to rescue the child.
Well,
When
this
you've
also
got a
brings up the
riot
question
trying
of-
to save the child, that's an
Yeah.
issue.
Well, this also then brings up the question of capital punishment, because it's a judge that basically says, right, well, this person has to die,
And
then
we
they get
all...
summarily executed.
Yep, and that's why I believe in innocent until proven guilty. And actually, we'll get back to that issue right after this topic. But, yeah, I mean, that's why I like a government system where guilty people go free rather than innocent people accidentally get convicted. Because I'd rather have a couple of guilty people go free and know that the guilty people we are punishing are definitely the scumbags we are punishing, than to worry about whether or not somebody innocent is being put to death. Now, personally, I find the death penalty be too expensive. It just costs too much money to kill somebody, so I'd prefer it wasn't done. It actually is cheaper just to have them rot in jail. But
Sorry about that. Had to
in the
take
short
care of
term,
something.
it's more expensive to kill somebody. But if you give them life in prison,
oh, no,
mean,
if you add up all the expenses to kill people, for the most case, including appeal after appeal after appeal, and I know somebody who, I'm not going to go into his details, but he died of cancer on death row because it took too long to kill him. He must have been there for 7 years with the appeals process. And I will say this about the guy I know. He shouldn't have been on death row. I support him 100% because his sister got gang raped. They went to the cops, and the cops basically were friends with the actual bikers this time. Doesn't happen very often that you have actual bikers gang raping somebody, but the cops basically deliberately blew the case. They all went innocent, and this guy basically went over and just murdered all of them. He expected to die. He didn't. He got captured and put on death row. So, you know what? Don't take the law into your own hands, but there's a part of me that's going, I'm having a real hard time not sympathizing with him because the cops deliberately threw the case. That's it. That all said. I've got a problem with the death row penalty because that was 7 years. If you add up how much money that guy cost the government to sit there for 7 years, and then they eventually didn't kill him. He just died from cancer. It probably would have been cheaper to put him in general population where he couldn't constantly eat up the court's time. But that's my opinion.
Well, to be honest, if they just felt the process and actually had good, solid evidence, which probably could take time, but still, take the time to get that evidence to make sure that this is the guy who committed the crime, well, mostly murder. The only time it would condone death death penalty would be murder. So when they got good evidence, fingerprints, and
No,
were told they used,
in my friend's case, he was. That was a miscarriage of justice, and then he decided to take it into his own hands. I have a problem with him doing that. He ruined his own life. He did. And he ruined a lot of other people's lives in the process. Not just the people he killed, but a lot of people who were dependent on them. So I don't condone it. It's just, I do understand it. But expense-wise, he was very expensive to keep on death row for that 7 years. It would have been cheaper to just throw him into general population where he wouldn't have a case. He'd just be locked up for life. There's no appeals. There's no way to get around that. You're just stuck there forever. You know, when you put somebody on death row, there is a lot of legal ruggamaroo you can go through. And it gets very expensive to keep going back to court all the time. And then they got to be in that special jail. And they got to be, I mean, it's just expensive. It's like, when you add it up, it's more expensive to keep somebody on death row than it is to throw them in general population. It just is. Now, I will say this. If they managed to speed up the process dramatically, so like you had 1 year and then you were put down, then yeah, I probably wouldn't oppose to the death penalty. Because then it's not costing me money. And ultimately, I'm the taxpayer.
So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts though on the person who actually pushes the button? I mean, like, you know, it's not the judge that throws a switch or pushes the button or pulls the trigger. It's
you paid me, I'd do it.
No. We don't use the button anymore. But we inject them with some kind of, I think, poison or something to kill them.
There's three. There's one to it's a pain reliever. There's a one that's supposed to put you to sleep, and then the last one's to stop your heart. And they're running out of those because the companies don't want to be associated with capital punishment anymore. But a packet of fucking 7.62 millimeter rounds is like $20 for 20 rounds. $1 a bullet's way cheaper.
Yeah,
Sure.
but that's not as humane as just stopping your heart with chemicals.
But those chemicals don't exactly work all that well. They usually.
Actually, in defense of Farty on this one, they've been using bargain basement replacement chemicals, and these people have actually been surviving.
That was sarcasm, by the way.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, yeah, but that's an actual thing though. There's people that the pain reliever and the thing that puts them to sleep doesn't work, and then when the heart stopper comes in, they're basically fully conscious and fucking screaming to death. But yeah, you put a 7.62 millimeter round through between someone's eyeballs, they're going to be out like a light straight away.
Oh yeah.
From a moral point of view, I'm also of the opinion that if you made a mistake, it's really hard to undo after you've killed somebody. But on the other hand, now that we've got DNA evidence, I'm feeling that we're really upping our game when it comes to convictions. All right. I just think that there should. I don't necessarily have a problem with the death penalty as long as we probably had much more stringent rules. Personally, I think the best way to do it would be to say everybody gets life imprisonment. However, you can get the death penalty from prison because once you've got life imprisonment, you've got nothing else to lose. But if you then commit a crime in the prison and that's what gets you killed, that would be a damn good incentive for people to behave.
I mean, also, the more violent criminals tend to get what's coming to them in prison anyway.
Well, sort of,
Raped or killed.
There is a law in some states in America where if you're in for life and you escape, then you get the death penalty, regardless.
Oh yeah, but not every state. I think that actually is a much better way because if you've made a mistake, they've got life imprisonment, and if they're saying I'm innocent, they're genuinely innocent. They're not going to fuck up when they're in prison because they believe they're innocent. But if they're actually a psycho murderer, it's going to be hard to not be a psycho murderer in prison, and they're bound to fuck up again. And then it's like, you know what? We gave you a chance to remember life imprisonment, and now it's time to put you down. If you can't behave, But I don't think that's ever going to happen, or I'm ever going to be in charge. So, any more thoughts before we move on to the next case?
Just on the psycho murderer thing, I reckon they shouldn't give the death penalty for people who have a hard on for just fucking killing people. They should just have them in a little room, and every time you catch a pedophile and you've caught the bastard being a fucking pedophile fair and square, you just throw that bloke in the same room as a psycho killer, and then you just turn your back.
Not that or just
because they don't like people.
Pedophiles do not last very long in our prison system. They do not at all.
They do not.
Well, out here they've got special prisons to put them in so they don't get the fuck kicked out of them, fortunately.
And you want to know something? As much as I want to be, all, right, equal rights and all that sort of stuff and defend the defenseless and stuff like that, I have a really hard time getting upset about pedophiles being raped in prison. I really do. I mean, there's a part of me that's saying, technically speaking, we should not allow this. On the other hand, it's like, I'm not trying very hard to prevent it.
Irony. I say irony.
Anyway,
I really don't care about those people. I mean,
speaking of sexual offenders, Cosby. You all heard about the Cosby ruling?
I knew that was coming.
Actually, I kind of thought he might have been able to weasel out it again, but who's not up on Cosby?
Oh, he's going to get his pudding pop.
I know that. Oh Jesus! I know he did some stuff, but I don't know how the hearing went. So was he?
The first time he went to trial, I believe it was a hung jury, and I think it was 2-10.
all right. What I did hear is that it was mostly based off of allegations. But to be honest, that's just not strong enough. That's not going to do it with me if it's just allegations.
Well, yeah, it was until the second round.
Still no fit. It has to be physical evidence. For me, it's going to have to be really strong physical evidence to prove that, yes, he did it. But it's just allegations? I mean, what the hell?
No, I'm with you on I would prefer there to be physical evidence. However, in Cosby's case, there's a few things that, one, they had multiple different... this time they actually managed to get 5 witnesses to show up, as opposed to last time where they only had 3 and their stories weren't that good. The 2 new ones were pretty good stories. Also, Bill Cosby's previous remarks where he has admitted like, oh yeah, I gave him drugs, but they wanted the drugs. Yeah, that's kind of suspicious there. All things said and done, I think he had an incredibly good case to defend himself. But honestly, yeah, the prosecutor actually did have it there. Now, my problem is that I'm hearing all the Me Too crap, and I'm just wincing every time I'm hearing that and going, my knee jerk is, I want to, or is he being, but this is one of those cases where I think they tried really hard, pulled out a lot of evidence, and managed to convince 12 people that he was guilty. And it's Bill Cosby. I mean, come on now. You think he
How old is the guy?
Yeah, well, he's
50,
like,
60?
He's like 80.
Yeah,
and they're talking about putting him in for 30 years.
80.
Yeah, he's got a life sentence pretty much.
He's going to die in jail. He's appealing it, and he might win the appeal, but I'm doubting it. But
years old. That guy's probably going to drop dead sometime soon.
I mean, I
wonder what Bill Cosby's favorite pickup line was.
What's that?
Does this rag smell of chloroform to you?
Any thoughts from Gwendy or Drew on this?
I really don't have much of an opinion about it at all because I just don't care. I don't care enough about Bill Cosby. I'm sorry.
Any thoughts, Drew, before I sum it up?
I mean, who's going to wear those, like, psychedelic sweaters now?
Well, just a few things I'm going to point out here. Is some people are saying, and now this will ruin the legacy of Bill Cosby's show. No, Mr. Huxtable was a TV character, and people can disassociate from a TV character and the person who plays it. Okay, so trust me, the Cosby show is not going to be tarnished by this.
And if it is, it's by shallow people who can't draw a line between fact and fiction.
I mean, in all fairness, I didn't really care about the Cosby Show, so I still don't care about the Cosby Show.
Now, here's my other thing, and this is actually why I'm kind of good with this, is I hate it when people get tried in court of public opinion. Okay? I hate it when you're declaring somebody guilty before it actually takes place. All right? So that's why I haven't really talked about Cosby at all or any of this crap with his trial, because I don't think we should talk about it. But now that they've convicted him, you know what? Some people might have some doubts. They might not think there was the, the proper amount of proof or anything like that. But in my opinion, the court declared it guilty. So I'm going to treat him as such. He basically drugged women and raped them. So scumbag, in my opinion. I have no problem calling him a scumbag now. Now that he's at his day in court, now that he's managed to defend himself, Now it's okay to say you're a dirtbag and to insult him and all that other crap. Before the court hearing, don't. Because trust me, you're talking to somebody who was falsely accused of committing gang rape by himself. I got charged. I got suspended from work, only a weekend, but I was suspended because a schizophrenic who was off her medication said I somehow became multiple people and gang raped her, even though I wasn't even in the building at the time. But I still got charged. Because that's like freaking, that's like Me Too now, where every accusation, even from somebody who's crazy and admittedly has not taken her medication for several days, and has prone to hallucinations and all sorts of paranoid delusions, still getting taken seriously. That's crazy.
Well, she's a woman. She has to be believed.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, like, even if she is like batshit crazy, I mean, what is the off chance that maybe she's actually right?
Oh, no, I'm understanding them investigating it all, but why was I charged? See, the investigation is different from charging.
Right.
You know, I got no problem with you investigating. I got no problem with you taking me on and interrogating the crap out of me, because I know this shit happens and I'm very, very careful to chart everything I do. I make sure there is paperwork for everything because I know at any moment anybody can ruin my career and job. And I've had it happen a couple of times where people are more deliberate than this woman. And when she got back on her medication, she apologized. And I said, hey, no problem. It happens. It's why we're here. No hard feelings. And there haven't been. But I've had other coworkers try to destroy my career because they didn't like me.
Why?
Just on that, re-look into Daniel Holtzclaw's case.
I'm not saying this applies to any other cases, okay? But I have a real problem with going after anybody until the evidence is in and the court has had its hearing. Afterwards, oh yeah, fricassee the guy. Fricassee, Bill Cosby, lock him up for the rest of his life. I got no mercy. There is no doubt in my head that he had the best possible defense, and if they found him guilty, I'm pretty sure he's guilty. Like, holy crap, he pulled out some lawyer from like some other weird case where the lawyer pulled off an amazing... He had the best lawyer team money could buy. And it's Bill Cosby. Come on, it's hard to get angry with the guy. But that all said, he had everything stacked in his favor and they still found him guilty, whatever. But saying anything bad about him before the court case is done, that's where I have the issue. And yes, it's not justice, and yes, it's not emotionally fulfilling. But what about the people where it's wrong? And you say it's only a small percentage. That's why I feel that we should let guilty people go rather than accidentally convict innocent people. Because I want to be sure the people we're punishing. I can forgive things. I can move on. And it's usually best to do that. The law isn't about justice. It's about preserving the society as a whole. Unfortunately, that's the case.
Yeah, once again, Daniel Holtzclaw. You actually really look into that, you'll see what I saw.
Any other comments before moving on? Wow, this is a show where I really have strong opinions on stuff for a change.
That's okay.
Allegations did not just do it for me. Just no. It's one thing to say something, to actually see something to prove it. Just no. Oh, yeah.
I got you. I understand that.
Like 10 or 20 or thousands. I mean, still, if thousands could say, "Oh yes, it could have been him," but if you just say you just saw him, what do you have to prove it?
I get that. And if it was one accuser, I'd probably say, you know what, that's not enough evidence. And if it was two, that's not enough evidence. But if you've got enough accusers and they have been properly interviewed, where it's clear that these interviewees have not had any cross contact beforehand, that's where I run into problems, when you have like 3 or 4 accusers who all know each other. Ooh, but when you have 3 or 4 accusers who are separated by, say, I think a 12-year period, and in one case, and they don't know each other, and they have very similar stories and describe similar MOs, and their statements were taken before they heard anything, and a lot of this information was not disclosed. So if they're bringing up information that was not made public, and it matches the other people, and you've got 5 people, that's where I start to think, okay, he's very good at hiding evidence. and we've got 5 other stories. I don't think it should, I don't think you should get the full sentence, but there should be some sort of sentence. But in their case, they only convicted him on 3 of the 5, and 2 of them they threw out, but the 3 they said yes. And they might be served concurrently, and with, I believe, time off with good behavior. He might be out, I think it's 7 years. Or they might throw the book at him, in which case he's not getting, he'll probably be dead by the time he gets out. It depends on what they do. He's appealing it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I mentioned earlier with the pedophile conversation, they don't like rapists of any kind in prison.
Yeah, Bill Cosby. I don't know what the hell's going to happen to him there.
Especially famous ones.
Oh yeah.
Although he's probably going to end up like Martha Stewart and going to like Club Med or something.
Yeah.
I'm on the side of Jacob with that, what he just said there, with a lot of these historic cases that do come out with a he said, she said, and it's sort of kind of like, well, where's the police report? Oh, well, I didn't bother making one because no one would believe me. Well, did you even check to see if someone would? Oh, no, but you've got to believe me now, kind of thing. Yeah, no, we need some evidence, sweetie.
Oh, no, that's the other part. Always urge you to go and report a crime immediately. Waiting several years to report it, I've got an issue with that too. I mean, this is iffy for me. But then again, since it was iffy, I'm pretty sure it was iffy for the jury as well. So,
well, I mean, how long did the jury deliberate?
14 hours. They gave it 14 hours, which actually is not that long when you think about it.
Yeah, like. I've heard of cases of them going on for like days.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson's one that it was weeks or something like that, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, they were so over the Michael Jackson pedophile accusations. Yeah, that one was, And then again, if I probably was on the jury, it probably would have been a hung jury because I probably would have made up my decision. And looking over I don't know what all the evidence was. Maybe there would have been something would have said, okay, that does it. That crossed the line right there. But I would be very, very, very deliberate about how the law read.
Yeah, you know what Michael Jackson said to Gary Glitter?
What?
I'll swap you 2 5s for a 10.
Oh.
So the longest. Now this is the UK, but the longest jury deliberation there was 24 days.
Ouch.
The longest court case took 400 years and only stopped because the estate ran out of money for the lawyers.
Really?
Yep, there was a 400-year-old estate thing, and the lawyers were basically working as long as the money was there, and the only reason why they settled on something was because the money simply ran out.
Wow.
What country was that?
The longest.
That was in England, and I think it was last century that it ended. I can't remember exactly which decade, so 19 something or other.
That makes sense. I can see a bunch of
US
lawyers leeching an estate like that for 400 years. I can see that.
But the longest jury deliberation in the United States was 4.5 months.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was for a civil case, and then for criminal cases it was 4 even.
All right, moving on to the Mirror. Couple argue as their multiple personalities debate the food shop. These 2 large mammals, Kai and Franz, 27 and 26, basically say they have dozens of personalities in their head, up to 400 between the 2 of them.
Oh, God.
And they have both been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, which is the part that actually is bothering me a little bit, because dissociative identity disorder, I've run into a couple of people like that. And, when I was looking over this article, this is a little more along the lines of, no, it sounds like you just have a really hard time making up your mind and you like playing games in your old head. But,
No.
They both look like feminists. They both have, one has green hair, one has purple-ish something.
I have
indigo
hair. What are you trying to say?
I don't know if that's
a feminist.
pink.
No, you're trying to be Markiplier.
Actually, I don't know what color that is. Is that?
I mean, if I throw my
violet?
He's a gaming YouTuber.
Looks like a chartreuse.
Wow, apparently they dye their hair a lot because in this one it's red and blue and something. Why do these
Also,
feminists
I
always
a
have like
red shirt that looks
tattoos
exactly like
everywhere?
vampires.
Oh yeah, definitely famous.
Oh, yeah, definitely lesbians.
Oh yeah.
Diesel dykes.
Wow.
How much you want to bet one this name is Mike?
What's the bet they roll their own tampons and suck start a Harley?
What the? I can't handle it.
Oh, hang on. Weren't these two in the in that fucking bully hunters video?
What?
My issue is that if you have this much mental problems, you should be in a home and you should have a handler, someone to go out with you to make sure you're safe. Because
that'd be offensive. You need to accept their gender identity.
You're assuming my gender?
They don't have identity, period. I mean, they have apparently.
They do have periods, but yeah. They should go to that university that's got that crying room, but they'd probably get kicked out because.
We're going to get to the crying room sooner in a little bit here. I think actually that's next up. See, the thing is that when I'm looking at this, it's like they're being. This was my problem. They're being enabled. That's the problem. See, the goal shouldn't be to encourage them. It should be to say, get control of things. Okay, let's pare it down to a couple of personalities. Does
one of them identify as a Jersey cow? That explains the ring out of its nose.
One of them identifies as a bear. One is a rock star and a male, and one is a fun and loving party girl. One is the dad of one of the other personalities.
I'm confused.
And one has a passion for marine biology.
You mean she likes to fuck whales?
Could be, considering they...
It says marine archaeology.
And the one thing I couldn't find reading this article is, what medication do they have you on? Because they need to probably, at the very least, get them on lithium.
Now, can you be sure they're even mental? Could they just be saying it's just part of their gender identity?
Well, see, that's the problem, is I do know this does happen. It's very rare. Incredibly rare.
But then again...
Beyond rare.
Medication they're on.
So why I'm suspicious... I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Yeah, they're self-medicating. They're self-medicating with weed.
Possibly, but when I see two people who have identical things like this, I don't believe the whole "we were meant to be together." I like to call it the dyadic black hole of emotional need, where the two feed on each other, creating a death spiral where they basically create emotional instability in each other, with each one-upping the other in how, they're crazy. I don't believe this is like naturally occurring due to organic damage. Maybe one of them. But when these two got together, they became a couple. They became very self-destructive. Somebody needs to break these two up, medicate them on separate sides of a continent, and do not let them near phones to call each other.
I'm gonna be honest. That sounds like pretty much every modern day far leftist.
No, and I've seen that too, and I've got a couple of leftists who have come through here from the mental hospital, and I've had a conversation with one or two, and basically it's like, why was your life going down? And then when they start talking about how they were with somebody else who was equally liberal, I go, that's your problem there. You were associating with somebody who was feeding into you. You were feeding into them. You need to be your own person first, not dependent on somebody else.
Yeah, I've seen this on YouTube as well, where like people get locked in their own echo chambers and stuff like that. There was the feminist movement, the male feminist movement, the truthers, fucking all this kind of stuff, where all these people would do is just talk to their own people and reaffirm their own bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Now that all said, maybe they are legitimately like this, but then my problem is, why are you being treated this way? Okay, you need to be helped.
Explain why.
Not encouraged. You don't need your delusions fed to. You need them torn down and corrected.
Back to shock therapy.
Quite possibly. It probably would have more success than anything else. Any rate, anything else before we move on?
No. All this can explain why so many were screaming at the sky that one day.
Yeah, when they say thousands screamed to Trump's winning, maybe it was just 2 or 3 people with like a couple thousand personalities between them.
Oh, I know where I've seen these two before. They were playing that they were in the Last Jedi. They were the creatures that with the green milk.
Oh, the ones the one that Luke milked and drank like a crazy man with sea cow milk pouring down his beard.
Yeah, the thing I loved about that scene is like while he's milking that thing, it cuts to Ray and it's got the face of this thing in the background and it just kind of looks at it like, oh yeah, you love this, and you just sort of like it's like that dude sitting in the corner just having a tug, staring at creepily, and then she's just like, oh, don't look at me. Oh, don't look at me while you're doing that. Oh no.
Any rate, in
That
case
must have
you
been uncomfortable for everyone.
moving on. Yeah, Freddie, you alluded to this. Stressed over final exams. This Utah University has a cry closet for students.
I saw that and I
How
laughed.
generous.
Now, here's the thing about it. It was an art project. Okay, so maybe it was actually designed.
So is He Will Not Divide Us.
Yeah, so maybe this was an attempt to mock people who are into safe spaces. We won't know because we don't really have a line to the artist. We do know that there is a closet with some sort of jagged outline, like it was torn visibly from the side of a building and stuck in the middle of a library. And inside is, of course, you guessed it, stuffed dolls. So you can go in there, close it, and just sit down with a little timer for 10 minutes and have a good cry.
That's
I
an
was,
upgrade from Ball Pit.
Now, I'm having a hard time
heard they
thinking this is a
torpedoed
joke. Because when I'm looking at the creator with the hairdo and the ambiguous gender and the fact that he made it in woodshop glass,
Pretty sure that's a girl.
I like
Yeah.
that
Yep.
shirt though. I would totally wear that shirt.
Wait, hold on. This could be.
That shirt.
Oosh.
God
Now
damn, I
I'm
need to
thinking
stop
that's
this thing from
probably a
resetting
guy.
constantly.
That seriously, that looks
Like-
like my current hairstyle, except my hair is pink.
We
Instead
used to
of
call that the
Sure,
skunk
be
style
concerned.
because it was dark on the side with a stripe down the middle. But that all said, regardless of the intention by the creator, it is getting hundreds of thousands of likes. With people going, yes, I wish I had this in my college. Wow.
What's so sad about this is that they've gone ahead and they've pussified the Mohawk. Fucking
Yeah.
assholes. But I bet you $10 if you do go in that room, that's where Shire is on his flag.
No, his flag is actually currently in Liverpool, or no, not Liverpool. Somewhere in the UK though, in a house
Oh,
on a white
yeah.
wall,
Yeah.
Because it got
Yeah.
stolen.
Well, because it got stolen so many times.
By the way, for the record, USA Today, their website, even though I saved this separately, is worse than a virus. Somehow, it's still hijacking my browser, even though it shouldn't have any access to the outside world. I am so rarely going to go to USA Today. In fact, I'm going to close this right now because I'm getting sick and tired of it constantly trying to boot up this stupid program.
USA to gay.
Yeah. Any
USA
rate,
Today is the way.
USA
USA
Today,
is not
USA will show you the way. USA Today will show you the
USA
way.
is too gay.
You speak
USA
on
Today
USA
is to
Today, and he will not like this, I tell you.
No, he will not. The commandant does not know the
Damn
way.
it.
But that all said and done, if you are somebody who desires a cry closet, give me a call and I will give you free therapy to get over being a wimp because you are not going to survive in the real world. It will eat you up
What
and
if I want
spit
a
you
cry
out.
office?
Well, then you know what? If you can afford it, go have your cry office. But don't do it at university. Don't do it with taxpayer money, and don't do it at like university money from the other enrollees. Okay, people should be going there to get careers and to be prepared for the real world, not for a world where. I love the perfect example where a whole bunch of graduates got hired by a new by a business that was handling computer programming in Silicon Valley, and all these new hires from the college, like 47 new hires, all wrote up a letter saying how they were upset with how the place was and how things could be changed. And then the owner came down and said, we got your list of demands. Who here supports this? Who signed it? And everybody who raised their hand, he fired on the spot.
Yeah, I'm
Well, they're
wondering
from
too.
California, so what do you expect? They're lowering the fucking standards.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this room is kind of like a convoluted employment sort of thing because a lot of uni students and stuff are going for some fairly high grade jobs and whatnot, like lawyers and CEO, or not CEOs, but like corporate jobs and whatnot, and they've got a hidden camera in there. So, right, this cunt's gone in there. He's having a cry. We don't fucking need him. Because I just saw this little thing on an Amazon question that they ask people, and it's all got to do with if you have 12 pairs of black socks and 12 pairs of white socks, if you randomly picked 2 socks, what's the ratio of colours and all this? My answer to that is no. If you're organised, you'd have your socks tied together and all this kind of stuff. So at random, you should pick two socks of one colour. If you're not that organised, then fuck off. We don't want you.
Well, that's reading a little too much into the question, though.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of like what was his name? The guy Oppenheimer, the guy who invented the nuclear bomb. When he was hiring people to work on the nuclear bomb, he would take them all out for breakfast, and then he would order them food. And he made sure to tell the guy, I think it was the cook, to heavily salt the eggs. And before it comes over, and anybody who ate the eggs before tasting them first, before putting salt on it, he wouldn't hire. Because if you don't make assumptions, if you assume the eggs aren't salted when you just put the salt on it, then I don't want to hire you. Like, that's a weird way to hire people. Like, that's sort of like pass or fail in a very specific question. Me personally, I do it by IQ test. I'd say I wouldn't even. I'd like, okay, you graduated, you got okay, here's an IQ test, and if you're over 120, you're hired, because smart people do better. Period. End of statement. Even if they don't have the qualification, if you're just smart, you'll do better than dumb people. And I wouldn't have any discrimination whatsoever. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You get a 120, I'd hire you. But that's just me.
I mean,
yay! I get to be in your job.
Technically, it's considered an insult to season food after you've been served it anyway.
You have to taste it first, but I generally add pepper to like everything because I love pepper so fucking much.
Well, my first ex, Alex's mum, if you ever got any food from her, you'd absolutely have to season it straight after, because she had this idea that to put garlic in food, you don't put like mashed garlic or garlic juice or anything like that. You simply take a clove of garlic and you cut it in half, and then you wipe it around the frying pan once or twice, and that gives enough flavour. And because I'm a smoker, I can't savour the slight flavours and stuff. I'll get fucked. I love garlic. I want the thing to stink like garlic. I want to smell like garlic for the next fucking week. Put tons of fucking garlic in it.
It's good for you. It's good
You
for
wanna
your
be-
heart.
You want to be able to smell garlic
Potatoes away.
outside with the door closed while it's
Oh, no, no.
Yeah.
See, here's the problem. I can't smell. And my sense of taste is shot to hell. The only thing I can taste is salt. So if you pre-salted the eggs, and I probably eat it and go, "Where's the salt?" I'm going to dump a bunch of salt on it anyways. So I would have failed right away, because it'd be like I put a bunch of salt on. And he says, "Is it too salty?" And I'd be like, "Heck no!" And then I put more salt on. I like a salt lick. I want a big salt lick by my bed, so that when I get up in the morning, like a gerbil, I can just chew on it.
Himalayan rock salt lamps.
Well,
Oh yeah, that'd be gone. I just lick that thing every couple of minutes.
I know a place you can
So
buy those for
gross.
relatively cheap.
Is it called
I got it.
Walmart?
Excuse me
Okay.
while I be a corporate shill and plug the company I work for.
Yeah, I've got a quick IQ test for the people around here because they're so fucking stupid. It's a joke. It's according to chemistry, alcohol is in fact a solution. Now, if you don't get it and you don't laugh, sorry, you're too fucking stupid to hold a conversation with me.
I see, but along the same lines, I have a joke that is also true, and if you don't understand it, I'm sorry, but how long is a Chinese name?
How
How
long?
long's the alleyway and how many times did the tin bounce?
Truth is, the longer the name, the smarter they are.
How long?
Is a
Oh
Chinese
no!
name.
God damn it! God freaking damn you!
Well, how do Chinese people name their
that,
children?
Oh,
that was
Yeah, how do Chinese people name their children?
how?
Fortune
They throw,
cookies.
no, they throw a tin can down an alleyway. Ting, tang, tang, tang,
Oh.
tang.
Oh, the version I heard was a handful of change down a flight of stairs. Pling, ting, ping, twing.
I mean,
Ching,
it's
chong,
the
ching,
same,
chong.
You guys.
same principle.
Hey,
That's so
hey,
fucked up.
we make fun of everybody here. And it's
I
nothing
can't believe-
personal. We don't hate
There's
any
no-
races.
Hey,
We judge
you know,
people by themselves. Feel free to make Polish
is-
jokes.
This
There's
is
the American-
embrace your
no,
racism.
hey, I will be offended if you make Polish jokes.
Really?
There's an American
By the way, did you hear about Poland? They just bought 10,000 septic tanks. As soon as they learn how to drive them, they're going to invade Russia.
That's an oldie. Yeah, there's an American Indian joke. This bloody white fella walks into a Indian village and he's sitting with the chief and he's like, okay, so how do you name your children? The chief goes, well, when the child is born, the father goes out and first thing he sees is what he names the child. That is why I am named Wild Eagle Flying. And he says, okay, so explain your son. And he says, who? Two dogs fucking.
I've heard that one.
But undone. Any rate, moving on.
That's pretty tame compared to the last thing you said you hate me for, so I'm moving up in the world.
Okay, moving on to back to Venezuela. Venezuela has defaulted on its bill and failed in its grace period on the $7 billion in money loaned from China. So
Supplies.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh wait, I'm sorry. It was 19 billion. I thought it was 7. Oh, my apologies. Basically, shit. Oh no, wait. They're not going to get $7 billion because of this default. I'm sorry. But at any rate, yeah, I mean, we pretty much all knew what was going on here. Venezuela, they've chased away all the lawyers and all the engineers and anybody who could actually operate the oil infrastructure, which is basically rusted away to junk. And given that the price of oil is now $20 per barrel, I'm sorry, it's basically $20 below where it needs to be for Venezuela to turn a profit. They're kind of fucked. Because they had all the money in the world. They did not diversify because they had nothing but cronyism. And now the country, you eat your pets and then you eat the zoo animals and then you eat cows that you happen to see on the side of the road and that's about it. I mean, the question, at what point, I mean, I kind of always wonder, how do you get into this situation where you hate everybody you're in control of that much to hurt them this much, You would think that if you were the president, you'd want to actually, I don't know, save some lives occasionally. Just to lie to yourself and tell you were human,
Well, they're communists, so they're probably not.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, at this point, everybody who's got a job in the government has it because he's a suck-up. And if anybody actually developed a conscience, everybody else would immediately stab them in the back and turn them in and they'd be sent off to jail. So I am certain that everybody in the government is too afraid to speak up. And the people, they have no weapons. They've all been disarmed. And anybody with an IQ over 100 has already left the country. So I'm probably the average IQ is down around 60. This isn't telling you that Venezuelans are stupid, because I believe if you factor in all the Venezuelans who left the country, the IQ would probably, on average, shoot up dramatically. But that said, wow.
Yeah, but
I'm surprised.
That's not real communism, man. It's not real communism. And if there are 20 more, it's not real communism.
Well, that's where communism fails.
Shoot.
Motherfucking. So what happens if a country actually goes bankrupt? Like, what actually happens if a country goes bankrupt? What would they do? Like, what? Well,
shit just
what I mean?
gets really, really expensive. The value of their dollar goes drastically down. So that's where you get countries that have got $1 million notes and stuff like that, and that's only worth like 50 cents everywhere else. And basically, their economy is so bad that they simply can't buy anything off everybody else unless someone bails them out.
And then what happens?
Well, nobody sells them stuff anymore.
Civil war. there's everyone starves, civil war, stuff like that.
Well, it all depends on what they
complete
invested
collapse.
in the country. See, if America turned around and said, we're not going to pay any of our debts, go screw everybody, in reality, we'd be screwing about half of the country because we owe most of our government debt to ourselves. But let's ignore that part. Let's say we just defaulted on everything because a great deal of our debt is owned by China. People stop trading with us, which is going to hurt and all. The American dollar will get some inflation, but we are the breadbasket of the planet. Okay, if America stops selling food, the rest of the planet starves pretty much. They do not make enough food to feed themselves. Most of the other
I don't
planets.
see.
But that's for a democratic country that actually has something they can sell. But like,
Oh,
when you,
hold on.
Yeah, but if you're a communist country, you've destroyed everything, and so
or even
you've got nothing to work
countries have
from.
fallen the same thing. Yeah, African countries have fallen the same way too. They didn't have anything to sell. Like, say, Sierra Leone, for example, the only thing they could export realistically was diamonds, and because of the civil war, they were banned from selling diamonds. So the GDP basically dropped, and say they've got notes starting at 1,000 leones, and that's only worth like 5 cents Australian. So yeah, but yeah, America's different, where they've got shit to sell no matter what, and they will still have treaties and stuff like that with Australia and New Zealand and Canada and Britain and stuff like that, where they still will be able to do something about that. Venezuela is completely fucked because they've got no treaties with anybody and not much to sell.
Well, speaking of trading, I'm not too sure about even with Canada or the rest of Europe. I mean, look what they're doing right now. Should we be doing anything with them? But the way things are going over there?
Well, we're going to continue
absolutely.
to trade with them because it's the only way that they're ever going to come back from what they're doing. Like,
the European,
but that clearly capitalism needs to win. I mean, at this point, because it's on the ropes, and every time it loses.
The European Union is pretty much about to collapse anyway. So you're going to have people bargaining for better trade deals and all this kind of stuff anyway. So it'd be a good time to start dealing with Europe and have your individual contracts with individual countries, as opposed to having one that's run completely as a whole by one power, which is Germany.
Right now, who we need to cut off is South Africa. I mean, last I heard, they're still stalled on the whole seizing all the white farmers' land without compensation, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get pushed through eventually.
Oh, yeah. They're just still trying to kill all the white fellows off.
And the last time that a country tried that in Africa, I believe they, what was that? That one country that basically starved? All of them. Yeah, Ethiopia. Yeah. All of them who tried that. Somalia, Uganda,
Zimbabwe.
And whenever you get rid of the farmers, they realize, hey, wow, it's really hard to farm. You don't just throw seeds on the ground and hope it grows. You actually have to be a skilled worker. And these guys have been doing it for generations.
Yep, and even Sierra Leone to an extent. And that goes back to the diamonds. They were making more money off the diamonds than they were off farming and all this kind of stuff, agriculture. Even their fisheries weren't making nowhere near enough. And so the focus was on the diamonds, and that's where you had the companies like De Beers and stuff like that, who had giant conglomeracies in there, and they were getting slaves pretty much to go and mine the diamonds for them for fuck all wages. It was punishment work pretty much. And then the people sort of went, well, how come our Prime Minister can have like a brand new car every week, but we can't even afford to eat fucking fish every day? Fuck this. And yeah, that's when civil wars came in, and then they devalued the diamonds coming out of Sierra Leone, which basically killed their currency. That's how that shit happened.
Oh well, I don't think there's much else to say other than Venezuela is one more step towards implosion, and probably
they should ask to get back in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, actually, at this point, it's probably the only way they're going to fix things. It's sad, but but I think
just pray to whoever God some kind of shit. Never mind, I fucking messed it up.
Anyway, any final comments on this before moving on? Something more fun. I can't pronounce this. 50 Shades of Nullstalt. German's bondage prompts false alarm. In Berlin, German police say they rushed to an apartment in the southwestern town of Nullstalt after receiving a call about suspected domestic abuse, only to barge in on a voluntary class on Japanese bondage.
Kinky.
How are you giving a class on Japanese bondage? I mean,
Because it doesn't come from a vending machine.
but yeah, that's Germany all over now. They're just behind closed doors. They try to be so prim and proper out in public, but behind closed doors, they're so weird.
This is how you say this properly. Oh yeah, I am coming. Oh yeah, I am coming, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
No,
Any thoughts
this is actually
on-
really, really bad? Yes,
on
this
the-
is really, really bad because you've got the Germans and the Japanese working together again. Oh dear. And the Germans wanted a unified army in Europe, and the Japanese want an offensive force back. Ooh, now we just got to wait for the fucking Italians to jump up and say, yeah, we'll join in too. Ooh.
And then you have a giant orgy.
And then you're going to have a bunch of masochists all united? Like, I don't think that's very dangerous. Like, I see this whole army of people lining up and saying, please shoot us, but try and wound us. Just, and then you could put us in a camp after you capture us. We all surrender.
And this is just the Japanese paying forward again, because when Germany does unify Europe under their own government and their own army and all this kind of stuff, and the Japanese start doing their war crimes again, they've already paid forward. See, look, I already been whipped or fucked. That's why I can torture you in my prison camp. Oh, yeah. It should actually be 50 Shades of Merkel.
Yeah, the Germans are just so self-destructive for some reason. It's so bizarre.
But they make really good quality leather whips and shit.
God.
At any rate,
German-
anything else on this
German
before
engineering.
we
German
move?
engineering. Always buy your gimp suits from them. They'll last longer.
Any rate, anything else on this topic before moving on? Guess not. German Jews advised to not wear yarmulkes in public.
Wasn't I just saying something about the Germans unifying Europe under a one government, one army type deal, and now they're telling the Jews not to start doing shit? Oh dear.
Oh yeah, apparently there's been too many anti-Semitic attacks in Germany, so they're warning all Jews, hey, don't go around looking obviously Jewish.
Because
Wow.
we have these
bring that
camps
back.
where we can make you concentrate a bit better.
You know, there's all those videos of like the German like military leaders all doing weird kinky shit from World War II. And I don't know. It just something sounds very familiar about all this when it comes to Germany. I'm just
Yeah.
saying here.
I
The
really wasn't
the
kidding.
anti-Semitism, the the weird bondage, the Japanese, I'm just saying.
No, I really wasn't kidding a few months ago when I said this whole thing with the European Union, that Merkel wanted Europe to be run by the Germans and have a unified army run by the
Oh, yeah.
Germans. And this included the United Kingdom as well. So they'd have no royal powers or the parliamentary powers. They'd be run by the Germans, and their military would be run by the Germans. And this really does sound like World War II without firing a shot.
To be honest, I think the English made a mistake of reducing their royalties' power. I mean, just look where they are now.
Oh yeah,
Oh, but you got to admit, they're still the world's maddest monarch on the fucking planet. I mean, like, for fuck's sake, the Queen's last Jubilee, for Christ's sake, she gave everyone a rock concert for free. Hey, how cool is that?
Anything else on this topic from anybody else before moving on?
Gosh darn it! I made a great joke, and I was still muted.
Oh,
Do it again.
who muted
oh my
you?
God, man.
I did
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
because I had to get up to run to the bathroom and didn't want to make a ton of noise.
Gotcha. Very polite of you. Not making sure we don't hear you go to the bathroom. Although the conversation is
Well,
about deviant sexual Germans and their hatred for Jews. So weird bathroom noises would not be inappropriate.
Oh,
Case in
God.
point. Do you wish to share the joke anyway, Drew?
I don't
Tell
even
it.
remember what it was now.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay.
The moment of realization from wait, crap, I'm still muted. Just
No, you're
kinda
not.
wiped my brain.
Well, you're
at least
not
you
as
wiped
dumb
something.
as the UK students.
Well, at least you wiped something, Drew.
God.
Schools in
It's
the
a
United
college.
Kingdom are removing analog clocks because students can't tell time. That's right. The kids are so used to reading digital devices that looking at a normal analog clock with a hour hand and a minute hand and a second hand is just too hard. So they're forcing the schools to remove them.
No,
Oh, wait. The truth is, they're actually racist. The clocks trying to tell normal time is actually racist.
I'm not sure how, but I believe that's probably their reason.
No. See, this isn't a problem with the kids coming from someone who has been an instructor before, and in the army, it's if you can't teach them, then it's not a fault with the student. It's your fault. Your job is the instructor. If you cannot instruct them, then you are not really a good instructor now, are you?
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to teach a fucking second-hand, first-hand clock. Jesus,
Like,
that
my
hasn't been
son
that
knows how
long
to
since
do it
I was in
easy.
elementary.
But you see this as evident in a lot of places,
So, wait.
especially poor fucking places where
Does
they'll
that
just
mean-
they'll just go, hey you, what's this? No, you can't answer that. Well, fuck off up the back and don't annoy the smart kids up the front,
Ugh.
and then they
True.
get left behind.
Drew, you had
Does-
something?
Does
Yeah,
that
but-
mean they're gonna change Big Ben to a giant digital clock?
Probably.
Futurama did that, didn't they?
Yes,
Yep.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Futurama called it
Mac- again,
again. But yeah, that's an interesting
Mac
thought. Are
Groening-
they going to fix Big Ben because nobody can freaking read it? Holy crap! UK,
Yeah,
you
that's
are doing
Matt
something
Groening
wrong.
Is, I think Matt Groening really does have precognitive powers.
No, he's a time traveler.
That's well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and instead of it going,
See, that,
like,
my
with
question
bells,
is
it's gonna
why
go,
is this
beep, beep.
happening? You know, is it really that the students can't read normal clocks, or is it perhaps because you have an influx of new students who are from a different country that don't use analogs?
No. It's just the fucking lazy ass cunt teachers getting paid too much for doing too little. I mean, like, okay, I'll give you a classic example, right? A mate of mine, Alexander Simic, right? He was Serbian, could hardly speak English, couldn't give a shit about fucking anything to do with maths or navigation. And one bloke couldn't fucking teach him navigation for shit. It was a simple lesson on how to do a read section. That's basically where you find out where you are by back-bearing 3 different natural landmarks off a map. And all I said to this bloke was, go back, do the same thing, just include death, destruction, rape, pillage, plunder. He'll fucking listen, and then he'll be interested. And that's exactly what he did. He went back, was like, the enemy's here, we're here, we've got to, call in a fucking artillery strike on these guns. You need to find out where you are so you don't blow yourself up, right? Okay, 10 minutes later, from supposedly supposed to be teaching a 40-minute lesson, this kind of picked it up straight away. You can teach a monkey to fly the space shuttle, you just need to be a decent instructor. And if they can't instruct anybody, it's a failing on the instructor, not the student.
Well, I do agree. The first principle of communication is it doesn't matter what you say; it's what your audience hears. So I'm with you on that. But
And that's the problem with teachers' unions.
to some degree, yes. Although I do want to share this because I just want to share this just to hear Fardy's reaction here. Cheryl Quinn,
Okay.
a head of department at Cockermouth School and chair of the West Cumbria Network, said that some children at her school couldn't read analog clocks in exam rooms either. So I just wanted your thoughts,
So-
Fardy.
Yeah, well...
This just sounds like a setup for you. I'm just saying.
No. Well, like, see, that's actually an old school kind of British type name, and like we've got similar names of that kind of caliber out in Australia. Now, like, here's another classic example. In London, there's a place called Cockfosters. Now, we know that there's a beer called Foster's, right? Now, to me, that literally translates into dick beer.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't
There's a-
Foster's like cheap and nasty too?
It's so bad that we export it because no cunt likes it here, and only dumb fuck foreigners like to drink it.
Because it's foreign.
No, we make it here.
No,
It's,
I mean they drink it because it's for.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
I actually can't remember seeing a can of Foster's anywhere for like the last fucking 20 years or so. Not in Australia, anyway.
Anyway, anything else on this before moving on?
Well, just on Foster's, like when I went to America last, I was expecting people to say, say g'day or put a shrimp on the barbie or something like that. And then all of a sudden they asked me, do you know Steve Irwin? Well, we didn't know Steve Irwin's real name at that point. He was just a crocodile hunter. And I said, who the fuck's that? And they go, the crocodile hunter. Like, oh, yeah, he lives just up the road from me. Oh, really? Okay, say Foster's Australian for beer. And it's like, VB, Australian for beer, thank you fucking very much. Why don't you drink Foster's? Well, why don't you drink Budweiser? Because we hate the shit. Yep, so do we.
Also, his daughter is like, damn.
Oh, Bindi Irwin?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that now. She's 18. That's legal here.
Gotcha. Anyway, moving on. God, I hate USA Today. Trump holding rally at Michigan, skipping correspondence dinner. Now, for people who don't know, the correspondence... Yeah, the correspondence dinner is where the president goes and then all the reporters make fun of him for a day. And it's supposed to be some sort of rite of passage, a tradition of roasting the president. And then the president gets to roast everybody back and everybody has a big laugh. And Trump said, no, go fuck yourself. I'm the president of the United States. You should respect me every moment of every day. And I'm going off to hold a rally because I did that last time and I have no respect for you. That's basically what happened.
Well, hang on. He's got every right to not go because every bastard's been roasting him since he got into power. He's been roasting every bastard since he got into power too. So, hey. Yeah,
I mean, it's like he'd like a day off. So, but any thoughts? Do you think? I mean, just as a question, I don't think he should. But do you think he should? This is the second time he's snubbed a tradition that's been around for decades. Do you think he has the right to snub tradition? Thoughts?
Yeah, why not? They're snubbing fucking tradition nowadays.
Tradition for the sake of tradition isn't a good thing, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you for that.
No, especially with mainstream media. I mean, fuck them.
Yeah, that, and I just don't like traditional media.
Well, just have a look at some of the traditions they've been trying to ruin out here. It's the whole thing of the whole death embolism in the military because it makes us look too nasty. Yeah. I'd love to know what the hell Adfer or Duntroon is going to do because their fucking emblem's got a Spartan mask in.
Anyway, anything else before we move on to incels?
Oh, boy.
Oh, this is funny.
Who are incels behind the misogynistic ideology that inspired the Toronto rampage suspect? What the incel community wants and where it thrives. By Tara Maragon. So, okay. The killing of 10 people in Toronto on Monday has brought attention to the incel community, an extremist, misogynist group of men who are involuntary celibate. No.
Oh God.
No, they're not.
I heard about that.
They're not extremist, and most of them, while there's a bunch that have a problem with women, they're not extremists. This guy was a nut job. Okay, plain and simple, nut job. All right. Because if he had enough money to afford a rental van, he had enough money to afford a whore. Okay.
Yeah, read on from why do incels hate women? You've got to hear the wording.
Oh yeah, I gotta read this. This is great. Incels are cisgendered and heterosexual men who have trouble finding sexual partners. They congregate on internet forums like 4chan, which allows users to post to message boards anonymously, where they vent their frustrations about women who do not accept their sexual advances and the men that women seem to prefer. The community has its own terminology to describe the people who frustrate them. Good-looking men who attract women easily are called chads. Stacies are women who reject incels in favor of chads. Incels also call women feminoids, a derogatory term. How dare they be derogatory towards women? The group is exclusively male. Duh. Or at least as far as internet avatars can suggest, because incels believe that women can't be involuntarily celibate. Well, I actually would disagree with that because I've seen some women who I would not fuck with farty stick.
What does the incel community want? I think it's pretty obvious based on the description above what they want.
They want a
They
root.
want to get laid. That's what they want. But let's see what she thinks it is. In forums, those who identify as involuntary celibate often vent about their sexual frustrations in crude terms. They're crude. But many posts go further. All women are sluts. One incel entitled in his post, proof that girls are nothing but trash that use men. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Hang on. Just on that, the all women are sluts thing, I'll just bring up a thing from the great Beavis and Butthead. Oh, Beavis, your mom's a whore. No, she's not. She's a slut. Whores get paid.
Yeah, so he wrote some stuff wishing to speak to Sergeant 4chan and saying the incel rebellion has already begun. We will overthrow all the Chads and Stacys. And I'm damn certain that on 4chan they said, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, good on you, dickhead.
I mean, I'm reading through this.
Like, how much?
Oh no, you go ahead.
How much she didn't get the friggin' point, which is where, like, you know, these incels are complaining about the men that women seem to choose over them. It's like, no, well, okay. In my experience, like the most time I've ever said something to some female about who they're rooting is like, this guy is overtly a prick. He's an asshole. He's either going to cheat on you or beat the fucking shit out of you, and then I get ostracized because of that, and then fucking 6 months to 2 years later, they come back with either a black eye or a fucking sobbing face going, you were right. Well, I tried fucking telling you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to let you in on a clue if there's any incels listening. Okay? If you hate women, women will be able to notice. And so if you're trying to attract a woman and you hate all women, they'll pick up on that and they won't want to be around you. These jerks that these incels are complaining about, for all their flaws, they like women.
Yeah.
That's the difference. See, you hate women and have problem getting women. The men who don't have problem getting women don't hate women. So I'm not saying that, you know, misogynists don't exist, but I can assure you, your body language will come across as you hate women, whether you like it or not. You can't really fake body language unless you're really, really good at it. So that's my advice. Stop hating women and maybe they'll want to be around you.
Well,
Thoughts?
My advice to women is, like, if someone's asking the time or being polite, you can just take for granted that they might just be being polite. We're not exactly out to fuck everybody, which is the usual thing that I get. If I go up to someone and say, yeah, good morning or something like that, they sort of, I've even had this before where, like, some woman actually turned around and said, I have a boyfriend. I said, good for you. What's the time? Fucking, that's actually happened. Like, not all the time when someone's being polite that they want to get at your goodies.
Well, I don't usually get like that disturbed by like people asking what time it is, but like if I'm at a bar or something and I'm with a bunch of girlfriends and some guy won't leave me alone, I'm like, I have a boyfriend.
Thankfully,
whatever.
Yeah, thankfully, you're not in Tari though.
Well, unfortunately, the system does encourage persistence, unfortunately, so that's part of the problem there. But I'll tell you right now, here's how it works out. Be happy if you're a guy. Have some self-esteem. If you want self-esteem, 1, stop hating everybody else. 2, become responsible. Take on some obligations and fulfill them. Even if you fail at your obligations, fulfill the obligation in failure that you are required to fail. You know, be a good loser. And have some respect for yourself. If you have some respect for yourself and you're a happy person and you don't hate everybody else, people will want to be around you, and then you'll meet girls. Okay? That's pretty much it. There's no miracle about this. You don't need to go and study some pickup artist bullshit. You need to have some self-respect. But that's just me.
Also, can we talk for a second about how this article claims that 4chan doesn't have like strict rules?
Oh yeah, they basically make 4chan out to be a bunch of like misogynistic, you know, terrorists who want to like murder all women or something. It's bizarre.
They're super serious about the rules on there.
Oh yes, they are. There's a lot you can get away with, but you cross one certain line, they will come down on you, hand of brooks.
Oh yeah, and I've seen it happen firsthand. Not to me.
Well, I'd
What
just
did
like
you
to
do?
say,
I mean, this is just propaganda.
Hey,
Just to
good
try and
luck
do.
banning me. I'm hiding behind 7 proc.
But
yeah, I'd just like to say something to the incels out there who think that, picking up women is the only way you can get some poontang. There are things out there called whores or prostitutes or stuff like that. You can pay a few
Or
quid
escorts if you're
and they
feeling
won't
fancy.
ask any questions and won't turn you down. Except if you're a really ugly fuck with a warty cock, and then they'll fuck you right off. But you can go and fuck, like, this is that bloody Elliot Rogers monkey. None of the uni students, what the fuck are you trying to bloody get frigid ass uni students for anyways? Like, this isn't the 1980s. Go to a brothel, fuck a whore. Simple. Or
See-
there is also a thing called Pornhub too. You can wank yourself stupid to that.
Because for them, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like they don't feel like they should have to pay a woman to have sex with them. They feel like they should be able to, like have a girlfriend and do all that shit. And it's like
But
yeah,
that's the
that
thing.
stuff is nice and stuff, but no one is obligated to date you. And just because you have trouble getting a date doesn't mean that all women are terrible things. Maybe there's something fucking wrong with you. Fuck.
Well, there's nothing wrong with me, but fucking Sheila's jumped in the car
Not
with
you
Ted Bundy to get
specifically, you
away with me.
stupid. Shut up. No, not
Yeah,
you.
you can pay a whore for half an hour to fucking love you long time. Fucking, she could be whatever the hell you want. You don't even need to root the Sheila. If you just want a bloody massage, she'll give you that too. If you just want to sit there and talk, yeah, well, that's what most rich people do. They pay hundreds of dollars an
A
hour just to
massage?
sit there and talk. Yeah,
Seriously?
yeah, yeah, no shit.
Damn.
Yeah,
But she's
that's a
nude.
real thing. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's that too. There's some people
Well,
who literally just pay women to just
Honestly,
like
that-
sit on their arm and not do anything.
yeah.
That's kind of sad.
That's
Yeah.
that's more getting into escorts than
Yeah.
Yeah.
actual prostitutes.
Okay, classic story. There's a Sheila I used to know from when I was in primary school, and I met up with her when she was still in high school, and she was in a really affluent high school called Skeggs, or Sydney College for fucking girls, or something like that. Anyway, this was in a place called Darlinghurst, which is like right next door to King's Cross, which is hooker central pretty much. And there was 3 of them, and they were talking about what they were going to do for work between, like, in their gap year between high school and university, and they were talking about working at a place called King's College. King's Court. And King's Court is a famous massage parlour in Sydney, and there's no rooting or anything like that, but they sort of are expected to give a happy ending every now and then. So after a massage, you tug them off. And they were weighing up the pros and cons of, well, should we do that or should we just go the whole hog, and work at a brothel? So, like it's not really a silly thing. And these fellas were pretty high class and upmarket too. Like, they could just walk up the street and fucking get themselves a rich bastard to fucking, leave them sitting around the house all day, just have them hanging off their arm. But, well, I respected them because they'd rather get paid for it.
Well, as a side note, I've been actually, ever since I read this, I've been racking my brain. I can't actually remember talking to an incel except maybe like 10, maybe 15 years ago.
I know people like that.
Incel?
They just don't.
No, you're talking about MGTOWs.
No, MGTOWs,
that's
yeah,
what
but incel is different. Like, I've met MGTOWs who are like, just don't want to deal with women. I don't hate them. I don't care. It's the incels are the ones who actually are, I would say, misogynist, at least the ones that I dealt with. And it was weird. I'm trying to remember this because this is a long time ago since I had this conversation, but it was almost like they hated women, but they wanted a girlfriend, but they didn't just want to have sex. They wanted a relationship, but they wanted her to know her place. And it's like, I remember the one conversation I had was very confusing. And in the end, I just kind of said, you know what, dude, you're not worth my time. Does that sound about right to you, Wendy?
There's really guys like that. Like, I know guys like that. Like, I remember distinctly, like 2 months, only 2 months because of this. I dated a guy like that, and I thought I'd give him the chance, and I was like, nope, that was a bad idea. Let's not do that ever again. I was like 20. Oh God, no, that was like the worst experience of my life. This dude was like totally one of those quote unquote nice guys, fedora wearing motherfuckers.
No.
Oh, r/nice guy.
Yes, I swear to God.
Ah.
It was so bad. I
Well,
was I was 20. Give me some credit.
Well, as the
Hey.
old saying goes, nice guys don't finish nice.
No, probably didn't help at all. He was like really super short. It was
Ooh,
just like,
yeah.
oof.
Hey,
I mean,
self-confidence.
I'm a human. He was almost my height, I swear.
Self-confidence and being comfortable in your own skin is pretty much 90% of the battle. But, well. That's the last topic we have of incels. So, any other comments on this or any other topics anybody wanted to bring up? Except for Harvester, who's going Trump, Trump, Trump. So.
No, I actually had an opportunity to go to the Trump rally today.
Oh, really? How was it?
I didn't go. I just had the opportunity to go.
You had the opportunity. That's good enough.
Well, see, I had the opportunity, and then I was like, is this really something I want to waste my time doing?
No, oh, guys, I gotta go. I'll see you next time.
Oh, yeah. Catch you
See you
later.
later.
Actually, I think we're wrapping up here anyways. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you turned
do
down
want
the
to go
Trump
ride
rally,
as
I
much as the
understand.
next guy, but
All right.
Actually, I liked going. I went there. The first time I went to a Trump rally, I did not like him. I went in there with full intent of bringing in my little portable recorder, and I was going to record everything he said, and then I was going to tear him apart on a video because he was obviously an idiot, and everything he said was going to be stupid, and it was going to be comedy gold. And after I sat through his rally, I sat there and I was looking at it and said, I don't have a single thing I can disagree with him on. And he did something which I'm pretty sure he did it deliberately, but some guy was talking and he said, wait a minute, are you a veteran? And he told the Secret Service people to get the hell out of the way, walked down and gave the guy a hug, and then went back up on stage. I'm like, that, you know what? I for some reason, I don't think that was staged. I think you just spontaneously the guys to go hug a guy because, and I'll say this, I saw his body language. He was happy. He was having fun. He was enjoying running for president. Every time I saw Hillary Clinton, she was always serious, always dour. She was miserable. But Donald Trump loved running for president. And I think he still loves rallies. He loves meeting people and he loves what he's doing. And I stand by my belief that his goal is to become the third most popular president in history because that's where he wants to leave his mark. But that all said, you turned down a chance to see him. Oh. Well, you had better things to do, I guess.
I also didn't have the gas money to drive all the way down.
Oh, well, yeah, that's another matter. Yeah.
It was less than an hour away, but gas money is a thing. So.
Gotcha. Anything else?
That's fun. That's funny you said that about just Trump just then too, because one of my subscribers, Al, I've been trying to get him on the show here, and that was way back when we were talking about that new Star Trek fucking TV show. But he's can't be convinced that Trump's anything good because he's infected with the Hillary's bad side and all this. And I've been trying to, he did this about the Air Force One, he did this about the JSF, and he's done this and he's done that, and he's done blah, 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 blah. And I think I went and shot myself in the foot over this whole Syria thing. I went, you know what? I think you might be right. He might just kill us all. But obviously he hasn't. So I've got a bit of fucking damage control to do with that fella.
Oh, as I apologized last week, I understand why he did it now. And if it makes peace on the North Korean peninsula, then congrats. All right, because it needs to be done. Although I will say this, they've been talking about...
Did you miss the whole thing with the North Korea and South Korea today? Because that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's...
that's been coming for a while.
I don't want to really talk about it too much until they actually have sat down and negotiated. But the honest truth is I think that Kim Jong, whatever his name is realizing he's screwed. And so he's trying to gracefully crash land his country now. But
he is. That's exactly what's happening. And this is all choreographed and all this. And Trump did play a big part in this with the whole missile thing, the way he reacted with the whole slapping down, saying, no, you're naughty little shit, we're not going to stand for it this time. But this was going to be a thing right from when he started, because he was almost in a political coup. There was going to be a military takeover right when he took over. Remember, he's Western educated, by the way, so he's been outside of North Korea and he knows it's all bullshit. And he knows how much the rest of the world knows how much bullshit it is, and he also knows too how many defectors there are. He knows how many people are learning. He knows how many iPhones are getting smuggled into the place, how much people are learning and all this. He knows that it's only going to be a matter of time before the population in a collective rise up and outnumber him and his generals. And that's coming. And he's got to do something to make it look like he is still in control. And this is all this is, just wordplay, just trying to make out that he's still in control so that it'll be a semi-stable North Korea when it transfers over. And when the Olympics came along, that was like, oh, fuck, they're doing that? Holy shit. Okay, this is going that way. And then now they've had the Olympics and they were accepted, and he's gone back to his people and said, right, well, they've proven themselves that we should give them a chance. So we're going to talk to them now. It's on their side. It's never been we're right and they're wrong. It's he's done this to make us do something for him. And that's the way he's wording it. But he knows as soon as like North and South are reunited, it's going to blow up in his face. Everyone's going to go, right, you've still fucking lied to us. We still want you out. So he is just trying to cushion the fall.
Oh well. But what I did want to mention is there were some people saying, Donald Trump, if he succeeds in ending the Korean War once and for all, should get the Nobel Peace Prize. And I'm going to say no. And the reason why is because Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize. And it would be an insult to get the Nobel Peace Prize now. If a president who's committed more assassinations than any other president in the history of the United States gets the Nobel Peace Prize, the prize means nothing. All right? It's an insult to get it now.
Well, the reason why I reckon he shouldn't get the Nobel Peace Prize for North Korea is because he was only a bit part player. He only did his little part in that little element of it. But in the entirety of the game, the peace in North Korea has been coming since Un got into power. And I've actually done a video on this years ago when he did get into power, and I said, right, well, he's nothing like his dad. I'm saying he's going to probably play well with the West, but it's going to be very, very difficult because you've still got all the hardliners, all the generals, and all this kind of stuff. And that's where once he did get into power, China had actually said, right, we're not going to fucking back you anymore. If they start a fight, we'll back you up. But if you keep starting shit, we're not fucking backing you anymore. And if you get invaded, we're going to sit back and all this kind of stuff, which means he was screwed. And that was a big sort of motivation for him to go, rightio, I need to change my game. I was just wondering when it was going to happen.
Oh, well, any other thoughts on Korea before we wrap things up? Oh, well, I think it's a good place to stop here.
I hope they don't do a remake of fucking MASH because they're just going to ruin that too.
Oh, God, that would be nightmarish.
Speaking of remakes.
What?
Oh, yeah. I think I know where he's going with this.
I just found out today Roseanne is on Amazon Prime. So.
Yeah, Roseanne's been out for a bit, but it's not a remake. It's a continuation. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Still.
I heard it was amazingly popular. Much to the shock of, everybody on the left. They're like, oh my God, people actually like Roseanne?
I meant the original series was on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Anyway.
I thought with remakes...
And also George Clooney was in that show.
Right. I remember that. God.
I love George Clooney.
He was the supervisor at the factory.
I remember that. Oh, God. Now I had the stupidest memory in the world. I can remember TV shows from like 40 years ago, but I can't remember like where I parked.
Hold up. I'm not that old. Roseanne's
I understand. I'm just saying. I'm 45. I can remember TV shows from 40 years ago.
I thought with remakes you were gonna, bring up the announcement today that that asshole Paul Feig has decided he wants to make another sequel to Ghostbusters 2016.
If it doesn't add with them hopping into a parallel universe and meeting the other Ghostbusters, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Well, that's exactly what I said when I found out too. Like, the only way he can save this is if he fucking just goes, right, well, 2016 was an alternate reality and different dimension because the ghosts did something bloody rather and turned everyone into females and made cunts dance and all this kind of shit. So they fixed that, And now we're back with the original cast, and we're going to do what the fans wanted, which was the passing on the torch thing properly.
They can't do with the entire original cast, though.
Yeah, I believe we've got 1 or 2 dead now.
I think it's 2.
1. What?
The
when
black
did Ernie
guy
Hudson
died.
die?
No, he died like years ago.
No, he didn't. He's still
no, Egon died. Egon's
sure?
dead.
He was in 2016.
Egon's dead.
Egon's the only one that's dead, as far as I know.
But I thought somebody else died recently. I thought it was the black guy. No.
I guess.
Or maybe his
I guess
career
he's
just
lying.
died. Maybe his career just died.
Well, his career died. Hang on.
Let's see, what's he been in recently?
Well, I mean, when it comes to the remake, you know what? I don't even think it's worth talking about, because the worst thing that could be done to them is ignore them. Okay, that's what should be done. If they're going to make Ghostbusters 2 based on that crap, then it shouldn't be everybody getting outraged. It should be everybody going a video that says, nope, that's it. Just nothing else. Not even talk about them.
Speaking of movies made in a series with a traditionally mostly male cast that have been switched to all females, Ocean's 8 actually looks pretty good.
It does look good. I'm excited.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because that is the proper way to do it. Not to rewrite everything and just make everyone female for the sake of them being female.
I don't have a problem with the concept.
Sorry. No, Ernie Hudson's still alive, but we already had an excuse for being a Ghostbuster down, which was Bill Murray, and he was always going to be sort of the fucking he was maybe going to show up, and if he showed up at the last minute, they had lines for him, but they also had a script to write him out. Now, with Egon now dead, what they were going to do with Bill Murray's character was that they were just going to have him there's this thing, and we didn't know, but we've branched off into somewhere, and so is running that. So he was there. Now, what did he do? So they ring him up, and then they have the obligatory phone call. Not exactly saying that have his voice over the other line or have him on screen, but we'll reference him by ringing him. That's right. Yeah, that's what we did. Okay, thanks for that, mate. And that's how they were going to do that. So that's how they can write Egon out of the script.
Truly impressive bullshit.
But
it should just be ignored. It should be ignored on principle. They even if they did an amazing job, it should be ignored on principle just to punish them. Like, if they do make Ghostbusters 2, it should be ignored just to punish them and say, no, you screwed up so bad the first one.
Just to see how bad it is.
Not
Not
even if I stole it. Not if you paid me.
Well, see, I can't formally have an opinion on something I've never seen, though.
I've seen enough to say, it's not worth it.
No, I'll sit down and try and watch it. I'm not going to say I'm going to force it.
If it's on Netflix,
I'm going with the reviews. And there's too much unified about the reviews for them to be wrong. There's the same points over and over, no matter which review you listen to. And I'm sorry, on principle, they must be punished. The Hollywood needs to learn this is not how you make money. And the only way to do that is to smack them down so hard that they finally realize, wow, we're going to lose, our mansions if we don't straighten up. Greed will work if we just use it hard enough.
That's
true. In the immortal words of Liam Neeson in Star Wars Episode 1, greed can be a powerful ally.
Well, it's the point where they were trying to say, no, it's not a feminist thing. It's not this. It's not that. Well, they brought that up, not us. And when you do look at all
movies are allowed to be bad.
Yeah, but when you do bring up all the men bashing and all this, and even to the point where the universe has changed. So from the original, it was they captured the ghost and they basically put him into a purgatory. In this one, they're actually killing the ghosts and all this kind of stuff. And then the shoot, even to the point where they shot the fucking Marshmallow Man in the nuts. It was overtly man bashing, and then having Chris Hemsworth as the himbo. It's like, come on, you don't want us to call you bimbos, but you get this guy, an overtly manly bloke, and then make him out to be a fucking himbo, and then every other bloke's an incompetent fuck and all this kind of stuff. And then that's before you, that's all after you've gone through the whole, well, if the main character, the discount Tina Fey, whatever her fucking name is, if she's so fucking smart and brilliant and groovy, well, why isn't she working for bloody shit? What was that?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, or fucking DARPA, or fucking MIT, or something like that. Why is she a fucking nobody in some nondescript fucking nowhere thing like bloody
Look, you're thinking this too much. It was a train wreck. It was a train wreck that they did a complete reboot. He didn't watch the original movies. He didn't watch the real Ghostbusters cartoon, which was probably darker than the movies themselves. And he completely ignored Ghostbusters International. Yes, I give you the whole reference to the Oz thing was pretty damn stupid. But April Kermis and everything involving, the evil pumpkin was pretty damn cool, okay? So fuck him for ignoring several decades of lore that existed. All right, he can go screw himself sideways with a chainsaw in Arabic. Okay.
I just got a theory about Paul Feig. Like, he got gay bashed by some cunt in the 80s wearing a Ghostbusters t-shirt, and he's like, "You like the Ghostbusters? Well, I'm gonna fuck that up for you one day."
That actually makes more sense than what he actually did. So, but neither here nor there.
Your little mini rant just now reminded me of this, me when I found out Disney bought Star Wars.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but after Ghostbusters, I kind of lost all hope. And so when Disney bought Star Wars, I was just like, this is going to end poorly. And I just have no strength left. They have won. They have worn me down.
Don't get me wrong. The new movies are all right. But why did you have to cut out 40 years of accepted extended universe canon?
Well, they were going to bring some of that back, though.
Yeah, they fucked it up, okay?
Yeah, they seriously fucked it up.
Darth Bane, one of the greatest characters, one of the greatest Siths that ever lived, basically, who paved the way for Palpatine. And they cut him down, and now he's all, pansy and shit.
I'm sorry, but it didn't... I couldn't finish the movie.
They ruined Thrawn.
I couldn't finish the movie.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I couldn't finish the movie. It was that bad.
I haven't actually seen it, but a few months ago, we actually referenced this on this live stream, and fucking I was going to go into a joke about the whole fucking the ending thing, as a spoiler thing, just to be an asshole, and then I started going on with. Yeah, and Luke Skywalker appears in front of all those guerrilla walkers, and they just fucking hammer the fuck out of him. And then Bob interrupted and went, yeah. And then told what actually happened. I'm like, oh, fuck off. They did it. And then they didn't do the obvious thing next, that he was actually there and force fucking pushing all the bloody, the blaster bolts out of the road, and they couldn't touch him with a fucking 50-foot barge pole. And then he had his, he's out there and all this. Because what they should have done was, he should have actually been there. He should have been waving fucking blaster bolts out of the road, and they should have been crashing all around him and fucking making a big dust cloud so he could reappear from it and go, haha, fuck you can't touch me. And then do the whole fucking Ben Kenobi.
Make him into a hero that people would respect? No, the whole point of the second movie was to destroy all the previous characters morally so that new watchers would hate them, and then they could try to repackage and sell new characters that everybody should love because these ones we've got the copyrights to.
And then here's where I reckon Ryan fucking Johnson should be arrested for murder, because I'm blaming him for Carrie Fisher's death. It was either the fact that she read the next script, or she realised how bad this one was and just couldn't fucking take the embarrassment and the fucking, she knew the backlash that was coming from this, and she's just like, holy crap, I can't fucking handle the stress. I'm dying.
No, you know what? We could spend an hour ranting about that movie. But
I'm pretty sure we did a couple months ago.
So let's stop beating this horse, because the horse is not only dead, it's been set on fire, reduced to ash. We've reburned the ash and then beat the reburned ash. I mean,
and then used the ash to make a statue of a horse, and
then fuck that statue.
with a chainsaw sideways
before we burn it.
And then we burn the thing that burns things just to be on the safe side, so nobody can unburn things.
That too.
At any rate, that's probably a good place to wrap up here. We've been kind of circling the drain a bit. So, any final thoughts before we move on?
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Okay, well, it's been real and it's been fun, but this time I don't think it's been real fun. Kind of a shitty week, so we'll see how it's working out. Hey, maybe we'll finally get a resolution to the Korean War. That'd be a good thing. Otherwise, stupidity still seems to abound all across the world. And hey, Alfie, sorry, man. Sucks to be you, to be in UK. For anybody else who's stuck in the UK with the death panels, try and stay healthy. Any last words before we head out?
Boobies.